Yo, what is up? This is what I watched for the month of April 2020. It's currently August 2020, so it's a bit late, but hopefully I'll catch up pretty soon. It should be monthly videos for April, May, June and July, and then we'll see what happens when I'm caught up. Might go to fortnightlies, might go back to weeklies, but probably not. Maybe fortnightlies, maybe monthlies, I don't know. But yeah, let's start this bitch. So continuing where I left off, I'm looking at continuing. So the first thing I watched after that last video that went to the 4th of April was Ratatouille. Ratatouille was fucking mental. Colette's hot. And, fuck off! So yeah, Ratatouille was the first thing I watched, and, it was fucking mental. All the colours... What am I saying? So the first thing I watched was Ratatouille, and it was fucking mental. Just everything about it was so fucking good. But it was really concerning about having rats in the kitchen, because that's not good. And so yeah, that like fucking just set me off, and I was like, holy shit, this is not good. But yeah, everything about the movie was just fucking crazy. Brad Bird just fucking went ham. And so did all of everyone in Pixar, and it was just fucking mental and good. 5 out of 5. Next thing I watched was Milan. It was alright, it was pretty good. But I feel like... I don't know. I feel like Eddie Murphy was really fucking annoying. But everything else was pretty good. Like, it was enjoyable. It was better than it is in Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, just fuck Eddie Murphy. 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched Belle de Jour. And it was definitely less sexually crazy than I was anticipating, because I just thought it was going to be sex. But it ended up being more of a contemplation of love. Somehow. It was really weird that it ended up being like that. Like a contemplation of desire, really. Like, because she just wants to be loved by her husband, but she just can't do it, so she becomes a whore. And there's like no sex in the entire movie somehow, which is crazy. So 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and it was pretty fucking crazy. Park Chan-wook just goes ham, and Song Kang-ho goes ham, as you would expect. And that's all I can really say about it. And Bae Doo-na goes ham. Everyone just goes fucking ham. It's just fucking crazy. 4 out of 5. And then I watched Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, and it's just fucking crazy. And just fucked and crazy and fucked. And it's just messed up. And Choi Min-sik is mental in it. And it's just fucked subject matter. Fucked action. Yeah, it's kind of like Kill Bill plot-wise. Then it just goes in a direction which you don't necessarily expect, and it just goes, yeah, it's really good. And it goes like progressively black and white through the whole movie, which is actually like pretty sick as a choice that Park Chan-wook made. But yeah, but I feel like it kind of faltered at the end, so I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Then I watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid #1. And it was pretty good. It was like, it wasn't great, but it was really enjoyable. It's not my favorite out of the 4 movies, but as a proof of concept almost, it's pretty good. I just feel like things needed to be evolved upon in order to make it a pretty good movie. So then I watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules, and this is just like the sickest culmination of what the first movie did. and it just takes it fucking to another level. And it's just so much better than the first one because everything's just realized Roderick's fucking mad. Greg isn't like the worst person in the world in the second one, which makes it better. Because in the OG, Greg's just like the biggest piece of shit. But in Roderick Rules, you know, he's a bit better a person. He's evolved a bit. But it still has some shortcomings. Like, it's not the greatest movie, but I'm going to give it a 3.5. And then I watched The Host as a little bit of a breakup, and it was a really interesting take on the monster movie genre. Like, I really liked the messages it had of environmentalism and family. Song Kang-ho goes fucking ham. What the fuck do you expect? Bae Doo-na goes ham as well again. And it's just fucking mental. But I feel like it could have been better. I don't know how it could have been better, but I feel like it definitely could have been better. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Then I finished off the OG Diver Wimpy Kids with Diver Wimpy Kid Dog Days. And I feel like this is the best of the OG trilogy because, I don't know, it just feels better. And it just feels better. I feel like everything's right there. Everything's just tightly knit together in a better way than Roderick Rules was. And I feel like Greg's a bit more of a piece of shit in it, but yeah, I just like the dynamics in Dog Days a bit more than in Roderick Rules and the OG. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. Barely clenches out the top out of those 3. Then I watched The Elephant Man, and I wasn't the biggest fan. You know, maybe it was because I was tired and I didn't really give a shit, but I feel like stylistically it was pretty good, but I don't know, I just expected more from David Lynch. But I guess, like, there's only so much you can do with the subject matter. But I felt like it was going to go ham, but it kind of just meandered a bit too much, I feel. But I might rewatch it sometime and think it's just fucking incredible. I don't know. But I'm going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and it wasn't very good. I was expecting Jim Carrey to hard carry this, but he just didn't, and Sonic was annoying, and James Marsden was dumb, and the whole movie's just not great, which was really disappointing. But I guess it's what you would expect. I had high expectations going into this somehow, and it just didn't live up to it. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. But then I watched Before Sunrise, and this was just incredible. Just everything about it was just amazing. The atmosphere, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy's acting, the characters, the writing, how it's shot, just everything culminates into this almost transcendent experience, and it's just incredible. Just absolutely fucking amazing. I'm gonna go to 5 because it's that fucking good. Then I watched Dora and Lost City of Gold. And it is secretly so fucking good. It just doesn't take itself... Actually, it kind of takes itself seriously, but it doesn't at the same time. But it's just like a really whimsical time, and it's like a fucking Indiana Jones movie, but just for kids. And it's actually funny, and it's actually kind of high stakes, and it's just... I don't know how to explain it. It's just really fun, really fucking stupid and funny, and I just really enjoyed myself watching it, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Then I watched Shaun of the Dead, and it's still pretty good. You know, it's a really fun take on zombie movies and how zombies, we're all just fucking zombies living our day-to-day lives because we're all just in the fucking capitalist consumerist fucking world and we just consume mindlessly. But it's actually funny as well, and everyone's pretty good in it, and it's really coolly done. Edgar Wright is Edgar Wright, and he does his own shit, and it's sick when he does his own shit. And yeah, it's just a good film. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Knives Out, and it was also another really fun time. It was really cool to see this different take on murder mysteries where it's kind of taking the piss, but it's like modernized and it's taking itself seriously. And there's weed, and there's actors. And yeah, Rian Johnson just has this weird way of deconstructing the genre and making it pretty fun, and yeah, it's like a fun movie. But it's also got some good messages in it, good social commentary, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Then I watched The Emperor's New Groove, and I was actually pretty disappointed. I feel like Yzma and fucking Kronk are just fucking incredible. But everything else with fucking David Spade and John Goodman was just shit. Like, if the whole movie was Yzma and Kronk, it would have been fucking goated. But because there's so much on Kuzco and whatever his name is, it's just not great. I'm going to give it a 3.5, even though I'm deeply nostalgic for it. And then I watched Joint Security Area, which was a pretty cool movie. It's about North Korea versus South Korea, and, you know, there's this murder mystery element to it, and Song Kang-ho goes ham. Something about Song Kang-ho going fucking ham in every fucking movie he's in. But yeah, this one's really good. Park Chan-wook just does his shit, and it's interesting, but I feel like it would have been better if I was Korean and maybe knew a bit more about what was actually going on. Because with the complex relations with it, you don't really understand the implications of the dynamics there, especially as an Australian, because we have no fucking border regardless of if it's a demilitarized zone and there's heaps of tension. But yeah, 4 out of 5 because it's pretty cool. Stuart Little 2. I can't remember a lot of this, but it's alright. It's a good kids movie. One of the classics from when I was a kid. Stuart Little is a little fuck. The dad from Diary of a Wimpy Kid's in it as a cat. And James Woods is the eagle. And yeah, it's good enough for a kids movie. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Stuart Little on the soccer ball's sick. Okay, then I started one of the biggest undertakings of my whole entire life. I was going to watch all of the MCU in my 7-day Disney Plus free trial. And so, first thing I watched was Iron Man. It was pretty cool. I didn't like the fucking soundtrack. Rock music fucking sucks. But other than that, it was actually kind of interesting, and it wasn't the best fucking movie of all time, but I liked what it said sometimes. But it was pretty like shit at the same time, so I'm gonna go 3 out of 5. Then I skipped Iron Man 2 and the Thor movies and went straight to Captain America, the First Avenger. And this one was also okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. It was kind of cool at times, but all in all, it was just a bit So I'm going to give it a 3.5. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 as well. Then I watched the first Avengers movie and enjoyed it. Like, there's something about everyone coming together, forming a team, which is pretty sick. And Loki's pretty good as a villain, and it's just a fun time. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and it was actually kind of sick. But again, it's just a blandness to most of the Marvel movies, which makes them pretty fucking annoying to watch. Especially at this point, I'd watched 3 Marvel movies the day before, and it was kind of like starting to feel the fatigue because they all just look the same. But this one did enough different because it's kind of like a spy movie, so I'm going to give it a 3.5. And then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a pretty sick paradigm shift for the whole MCU. Because James Gunn brings this pretty light-hearted take to it. It's a comedy movie more than a fucking superhero movie, which is sick. And it does enough things to make it fresh and funny. And it's the first one that takes place outside Earth, so you get to see some cool locations. But all in all, you know, it does a lot, but then it also doesn't do quite a lot. So I'm just going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched Age of Ultron. Kind of shit. Goes on for way too long. And I just didn't fucking care for most of it. But James Spader was pretty sick. And yeah, that's all I can really say about Age of Ultron because I can't remember most of it, so I'm going to give it a 2.5. Then I watched Ant-Man, and you can certainly see Edgar Wright's influence on this movie. It's pretty charming, kind of witty, and I liked most of the characters in it, and it had enough difference visually from the rest of the movies that it kind of made itself worth watching. And yeah, it's a funnier one, and I'm going to give it a 3.5 because I really actually enjoyed watching it. And then I watched Captain America: Civil War, and I started feeling fatigue again. You know, it's kind of just bloated and annoying and dumb, and just I don't really care about any of the characters at this point. It just feels like bleh, 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 bleh. And that's what this whole fucking movie was. It was just like whiny and fucking annoying. But Spider-Man shows up and just like, whoa! I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Then I watched Doctor Strange and I absolutely fucking hated it. I just hated Doctor Strange himself. I hated fucking Benedict Cumberbatch. Tilda Swinton was alright. Mads Mikkelsen was kind of sick. But just the narrative was dumb and it was just a fucking annoying movie and I hated it. 1.5. Then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and I also fucking hated it. I don't know if I was just in the worst fucking mood after watching Captain America: Civil War and Doctor Strange. But it just didn't do anything for me at all. Like, it was just boring and annoying and I didn't care about any of these characters and I fucking hated Chris Pratt. Like, I just wanted to fucking punch him in the fucking face. 2.5. Then I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming and it was actually sick. I really enjoyed it. Like, Spider-Man movies are fun. Like, Raimi movies are fun and this one was fun. And it's Spider-Man Tony Stark dynamic is pretty sick. But yeah, it was just nice. It was a nice film. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And then I watched Thor Ragnarok and it was one of the most disappointing experiences of my life. Like, I was expecting Taika Waititi to just go fucking ham, which he did as Korg, but I feel like the movie sorely missed out by him not being a writer and just being phoned in as director because he could have added so much charm and wit to it all, but the writers just made the most fucking bland fucking movie. And Taika Waititi did all he can, I feel, to make it exciting and visually interesting, but yeah, It's just not great and really disappointing. 2.5 out of 5. And then I watched Black Panther, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. You know, it was enjoyable, which was a plus. And yeah, I just had a good time with it. The score's pretty sick. I feel like the characters are pretty sick. Ryan Coogler did a lot to make it pretty cool and visually interesting. And I'm going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched Infinity War, and it was pretty fucking crazy. So it instantly made me care about the characters, which I feel like it was the first time I actually cared about most of the characters in the universe. And then narratively, it's pretty good. And Thanos is fucking mad. And yeah, it just sets it up really well. And, you know, it's a culmination of all the fucking other shit movies. It just transcends the rest of the cinematic universe somehow. And it actually is a really enjoyable time and an actually good movie. 4 out of 5. Then I watched Captain Marvel, and it was a piece of shit, and I just fucking hated it because it was just dumb and annoying. But Annette Bening's sick. 2 out of 5. Then I watched Endgame, and like Infinity War, it was just like a transcendent experience compared to the rest of the fucking movies. You know, it dealt with a lot, which was crazy. It was really weird seeing all these characters experience loss and like dealing with losing their friends, their families, and half of the population of Earth. But it's pretty heavy, which is crazy. But the action in it's fucking mental for the most part, and I feel like it just does really well. It's probably my second favorite out of the whole MCU, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Then I finished up with Spider-Man: Far From Home, and it was really good. This is my favorite out of the MCU. Tom Holland's sick. Jon Favreau is fucking mad in it somehow. I don't know how he's so good. Jake Gyllenhaal's sick. The setting, being in Europe and just being around Europe is pretty cool. Like going from Venice to Prague to London, it's really fun. It's like a road trip movie. It's like Euro Trip in a way, because you're going around Europe. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun that it actually feels like a high school movie compared to the Raimi movies, and it's fun that you can actually see these characters in a high school setting compared to the Raimi movies, where Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and James Franco just look so fucking old, and everyone at the high school looks so fucking old, and that's why the first movie's the only one at high school. But still, I feel like it just accomplishes Spider-Man more than Raimi does, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Then I watched The Social Network as my first movie post-Marvel, and it was really good. I don't know if it was just really good because it was post-Marvel, or if it's really good because it's just really good. But Fincher goes ham. Jesse Eisenberg goes ham. Andrew Garfield goes ham. Just the whole movie goes ham. Trent Reznor and the other guy go fucking ham. It's just a really good fucking movie. Like, full stop. Gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Then I watched Jarhead. This might be a controversial opinion, but this is Sam Mendes' best war movie. Fuck 1917. This is so much better. It's more of a contemplation of war. Actually, I guess that doesn't even make sense. It's 1917's a contemplation of war. But this is more like human impact on character. And Jake Gyllenhaal is sick in it. Jamie Foxx is sick in it. Skarsgård is sick in it. And yeah, it's just a way better movie than 1917, and it's a pretty good war movie. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched the Rugrats movie, and I wanted to enjoy it, but it's just shit. I just did not like it at all. 1.5 out of 5. I watched GoldenEye. I have a lot of nostalgia for GoldenEye, both on N64 and on the Wii, so I decided to watch it. And it was a pretty good time. You know, this is my second James Bond movie. And, you know, it was good. Sean Bean's good in it. Pierce Brosnan is good in it as well, and the chicks are hot, which is all you could want from a James Bond movie. And I'll give GoldenEye a 3 out of 5. Casino Royale, I feel like it should have been so much better than what it was, but it just goes on for way too long at the end. Like, everything within the casino's pretty sick. Everything with Mads Mikkelsen's pretty sick, and the game of poker is pretty sick. But it just really fucking drags on at the end. There's this point where it should end, but it just goes on for like 40 minutes past that, and it's just the most insufferable 40 minutes of my life. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Just skip the last 40 minutes, and it's probably like a 4.5. And then I watched Birds of Prey. It was somewhat enjoyable, but I feel like I can't remember most of it. It was kind of funny, but it was just pretty fucking dumb and annoying for a lot of it, and it was just kind of stupid. And I feel like it had some things going for it, but at the same time, it just wasn't great. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Then I watched Skyfall, and this is the first Sam Mendes's James Bond, and I feel like he brings some cool stuff to the table, and Skyfall itself has a kind of interesting narrative, and Roger Deakins does a lot to carry it, and Javier Bardem is fucking mad. And yeah, it's a pretty cool movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Shin Godzilla, and Hideaki Anno just makes the fucking maddest take on it. And it's just shot so fucking sick, because it's just shot like an anime. And the chick from Cutie Honey's in it, the cop chick, and she's sick in it. And when the Evangelion battle theme comes in, it's like dum, 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 and that's just fucking mad. That is like a top 10 most cream-worthy moments in cinema, that moment. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a bit boring, but I feel like it's way sicker than it deserves to be. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Yeah, it's a bit boring because it's very, like, governmental, which is kind of sick, but it's kind of not sick at the same time. Onward. Onward was surprisingly good. I was expecting to not really like it because I'd watched Toy Story 4 and just not enjoyed it. But this was actually really enjoyable. I didn't like Chris Pratt because I fucking hate Chris Pratt, but I liked his character. It just felt like it should have been Jack Black, and it would have been so much better if it was Jack Black. But it just wasn't Jack Black, and it was shitty Chris Pratt, so fuck that. But Tom Holland was good. Like, I didn't know it was Tom Holland if I didn't know it was already Tom Holland. And yeah, it's a nice narrative. It's a nice little story. It's got some good moments, got some nice moments, and I'm going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because I don't really remember it. Like, as a kid, I know I'd seen it, but I'd always just watched the Tim Burton version, so I needed a point of contrast. And they are very much so their own separate movies. Like, this is way more of a musical. And it's got some sick things. Like, Gene Wilder is fucking mad, but the Oompa Loompas, nothing compares to Deep Roy in the fucking Tim Burton version. But yeah, I feel like as a musical, it's pretty sick. I feel like it's on par with Tim Burton. Like, I like them both equally, I feel. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Then I watched the OG Ghost in the Shell, and it was pretty fucking mad. Like, aesthetically, it is fucking mental, and the score is fucking mental, and the narrative's to an extent pretty fucking mental, but I feel like it just didn't do quite enough for me, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because it's pretty mad. Then I watched the 2017 version of Ghost in the Shell, and apart from the visuals, this had nothing going on for it. Like, visually, it's fucking crazy, but everything else is just so bland. The acting is just bad. Actually, it's probably not bad, but the casting is just so questionable. And it was just not a fun time. It was just boring and annoying. So I'm going to give it a 2.5. Then I watched Booksmart, and holy shit, this is actually crazy. The obvious comparisons to Superbad, but I feel like it does so much more. Because I guess it's almost Superbad, almost mid-90s, almost, what's the other one? Almost 8th grade, but I haven't seen 8th grade. But this is like mid-90s for now, I feel. It's got death grips. It's got weed culture. It's got TikTok. It's got Vine. It's got Jason Sudeikis. It's directed by Olivia Wilde, and somehow it's just fucking crazy. Cinematography, it's pretty fucking mad. And it's just a fucking mad movie. Everything about it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because it's just fucking goated as a fucking high school movie. Then I watched Finding Dory and shut the fuck up. I don't want to see this. I just want to completely forget this ever existed. I watched the first 20 minutes and it was just abhorrent. It was disgusting. It was infuriating. It was downright disrespectful. And I'm not sure if that's the same for Finding Nemo, but something about Ellen DeGeneres' fucking voice is just the most fucking annoying thing in the world. 1.5 out of 5. Then I watched Submarine, and it's fucking mental. I didn't know Richard Ayoade could make this mad of a fucking movie. I love everything about this movie. 5 out of 5. Then I watched Sleepy Hollow because I've always been intrigued by it because I always thought it was Sweeney Todd. Like, I didn't know Sleepy Hollow even existed. I just thought I was watching Sweeney Todd. But I can really see Tim Burton's love for the German Gothic cinema in this. Like, stylistically, it's fucking mad. And Johnny Depp goes ham. Christina Ricci almost goes ham. Michael Gambon goes ham. It's just pretty mental. Like, it's not great, but it's just mental. 3.5 out of 5. Then I watched Sex, Lies and Videotape, and I really enjoyed it. I can't say a lot about it, but Sex, Lies and Videotape, it's sick. 4.5 out of 5. Then I watched Batman Master of the Phantasm, and I don't have much to say about it. I just not a huge fan. 3 out of 5. Then I watched Mary and Max, and I really liked it. The animation is really nice, but then narratively, it's really nice. I hate Toni Collette's Australian accent even more than her American accent, and that says a lot considering she's Australian. But yeah, it's a fun time. Philip Seymour Hoffman's sick in it, but yeah, it's a really fun time. But it's also sad and happy. It's all the emotions in one. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. And then I finished it off with Francis Ford Coppola's adaptation of Dracula, and I was just Not into it at all. Actually, I was kind of into it, but it just didn't do a whole lot for me. I feel like Francis Ford Coppola is kind of in my bad books at the moment, after Apocalypse Now and after this. But it was kind of enjoyable, but kind of really just annoying and boring. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. So, yeah, that's what I watched for this month. This was way shitter of a format, I feel, but maybe it works better. I just stopped taking notes on everything at some point in April. And so now I'm relying on memories of movies from 4 months ago. And I've watched so many movies since. But yeah, that's what I watched in April. I would really recommend Mary and Max, Sex Lies Videotape, Submarine, Booksmart, Ghost in the Shell, Social Network, maybe Endgame, Infinity War, and the Spider-Man movies. I'd recommend Joint Security Area, Knives Out, Shaun of the Dead, Dora, even though they're not must-watches. And yeah, heavily recommend Before Sunrise, because that is just fucking mental. And also recommend The Sympathy for Lady Vengeance and for Mr. Vengeance, and Ratatouille. Yeah, follow me on Letterboxd so you can actually see what I'm watching when I'm watching it, instead of waiting 4 months for a video. And follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Links in the description below. Follow me on Twitch. Subscribe, like, comment, add to your favorites, add to your watch later, add to your wank bank, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this vid. Thank you for watching.